Kelly Cooper asked us, what are your opinions on wearing a kilt to an Oktoberfest? I'm fairly new to kilting and a little worried it may be crossing the boundary of some kind. If it helps, the tartans I have are an Irish heritage and a Cooper modern. I don't think the tartan really makes a difference in this case, but is he committing a faux pas if he wears a kilt to an Oktoberfest?
Um, yes, no, and kind of, and maybe.
I'd vote for you.
Exactly. The I'm gonna flip it. If you saw somebody, you were at a Celtic festival, everyone is in kilts, hanging out, cheering for Albanach on stage. Love you, Jamesy. Would it look weird for a dude with lederhosen to walk in front of the crowd? Yeah, kind of. But you'd think that either, depending on how much beer you had, either he got lost on his way to Oktoberfest, or he's just celebrating and having fun and doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him as an individual. I would, then reverse it and say, okay, fine. So if and keep in mind, I've worn a kilt to Oktoberfest. If you're wearing a kilt out of a situation to another cultural heritage type situation, are you going to get looks? Yes. Are you going to get more looks than just wearing it to the mall? Probably. If you can tie it into the event, maybe you get a little more latitude. So, for instance, I've worn my German heritage kilt to an Oktoberfest. If you have a, half German, half Celtic, or if you're Italian, like half Gaelic, half garlic shirt, then I love that shirt.
That's a good one. I've never seen
I almost
that.
wish I was Italian just to be able to wear that.
Right?
But if you wear something else to kind of bridge the gap between the two things that you're trying to do, it lets people off the hook mentally. And I say it that way because people are going to look at you and go like, what is, why, who? And you're going to break their brain. But if you wear a half German, half Irish or whatever shirt, or half German, half Scottish shirt at an Oktoberfest, and you're in a kilt, then they're going to go, oh, okay, he's trying to do both. And they're going to understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can dig that. I think I would do it like certain other the Bavarian, Austrian hiking hats, those little fedoras.
Yep.
What are they called? There's another name for them, isn't there? Like an alpine hat or whatever.
Sure.
You can't get much more German than that.
I know the hat you're talking about.
Yeah,
Like the Robin Hood looking thing with the long, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fedora, but it's got the rope.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I had a music professor in college who wore one all the freaking time. He was about as Italian as you can get, but he also played accordion. So he always wore that hat. And they were like super cool in the 50s. I think he was, he grew up in the 50s, you know what I mean? So yeah, a little nod like that could go a long way for making sure that you don't come off as like, hey, I'm going to show you guys what this is about. I'm going to be like, I'm going to disrupt your jam here. You don't want it to come off as like you're trying to,
thumb your nose at their culture.
Yeah. Thumb your nose is a good way to put it.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think mostly, if I've seen somebody in something that's particularly out of place on purpose at an activity, it's usually a party guy. It's usually somebody who wants to be a center of attention. And then not necessarily malicious, but definitely like, hey, look at me. So, your mileage may vary, but I wouldn't mind doing it, and I could see you doing it, but you're an outgoing person. If he's a shyer person, then he may want to not do that if he's worried about. But again, if we're talking about like an Oktoberfest in like Pennsylvania here or something, or New York or California, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah,
realistically, nobody's gonna care in this country.
Yes, no one's gonna care, and I could look at it. I think of it two ways. One, my neighbor Kurt Kunsch, wonderful guy. He goes to Oktoberfest every single year. The man has lederhosen. He has the full outfit. He just embraces it and he loves it, and it's fun. And I would actually love to go with him to an Oktoberfest, and in the same kind of garb, and just go nuts with it, and just have a full on German American experience versus wearing a kilt at least once, just to do something completely different and get fully into it. When you're wearing a kilt, you're pushing against what the event is to a degree, and showing yourself as an individual, but at the same time, it's fun in a different way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see doing both and just getting like fully immersing yourself in it one way or the other, and just either fully going into it or fully going against it, just as a, hey, look at me, I'm different, or I'm going to go all in, I'm German and I'm proud kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think beyond all that, this is an old saw of mine. It's going to be how you carry yourself. I mean, again, you don't go in there with an attitude. You go in there, and if you see somebody in full regalia at this event, you compliment them. If somebody performs and you like the performance, you applaud and you compliment them, and you be a booster, and you be supportive and friendly. And suddenly a lot of sins will be forgiven, even if somebody thinks it's a sin.
Yeah.
So don't be a jerk.
And I was going to use one of our other phrases, be a good ambassador.
Right.
And if you're wearing a kilt, you are ambassador of every man wearing a kilt, period. So if you're going to go to that event, be a good ambassador, be outgoing and be fun and be happy and be positive and compliment them and be the guy dancing up front, do the whole thing, but be a positive force in the world versus kind of, lederhosen, am I right? At a German event, it's not going to win you any friends.
Right.
So be a good ambassador and don't be a jerk, as Erik said.
Right. Now, if I'm not mishearing, you've basically said you'd be willing to wear lederhosen. So if anybody out there has access to lederhosen, I challenge you to loan them to us.
I don't know if I want to wear another man's lederhosen.
Well, I don't know where it's going to come from. I'm not going to ask too many questions.
Do they go commando in lederhosen?
How many people want to see Rocky in lederhosen? Raise your virtual hand right now. This is your purple Sheriff Muir, okay?
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I've worn lederhosen swim trunks.
Not the same, dude.
I know.
Not the
but
same.
It's still freaking fun.
Okay. All right.
Indeed.
Mac?
Now, what happens if we take it to a different level? Leather kilt with the lederhosen top.
And the pouch flap thing on the front?
Yes, you're going to go that way. You got to go all the way in.
We see that we could actually make.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done Photoshops of that, like a lederhosen kilt mashup, but I mean, in real life, we can actually craft that.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually could get him into a kilterhosen.
Do you still have your leather kilt?
You have a leather kilt?
Didn't you have a...
You're kidding me.
Robert Pell from our kilts. Maybe a leather kilt way, way, way back when.
No shit.
No, I do not have it. Someone may or may not have outgrown it and sold it to a biker.
Sold it to a biker.
No, I actually did. Dude
okay,
wanted a black leather kilt, but I was like, hey, I got this one. You're about this size, and he bought it from me.
There are no pictures of you in this leather kilt.
I don't think there are. I only wore it like 3 or 4 times because it was snug when I got it, and I haven't gone back to that weight.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something's got to happen.
There's a lot of virtual hands that have appeared in the Facebook or in the feed.
Of
here.
course there are.
No one likes me. Don't make me wear lederhosen.
Yes, my minions. Yes. Let the mischief prevail.
Indeed.
Hey man, you put lederhosen on, I will.
I think Jim Diener, our close friend, has a pair of lederhosen.
There's a store up
right.
in Ole. It's about 45 minutes or an hour from us. It's a German store that sells lederhosen and all kinds of German stuff.
We could do a beer try for the show. We could do a pretzel try.
Yes, we'll bring in Spaten or
Das
Warsteiner or
Oh my god.
Indeed, brats. Yes. No, I am like the world's worst German. I do not like sauerkraut. It's no.
You don't like sauerkraut? Sauerkraut's awesome.
No, can't do it. Nope.
Oh, well.
Not gonna do it.
The man will eat
Pretzel.
haggis, but not sauerkraut.
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
watch this space. Lederhosen coming to a kilt shop near you.
maybe for April Fools. I don't know. All right.
The whole show.
Okay. I think it's
we'll
over.
do a whole show on lederhosen and culture.
There you go.
Welcome to Lederhosen Culture. I am Rocky.
Can I wear lederhosen to the office?
This is why we can't have nice things. So what do you think? Should I rock a pair of lederhosen Let us know in the comments. If you guys dig what we are doing as a channel, please remember to subscribe and ring the bell so you will get notifications every time we come out with new stupid content about me wearing lederhosen.